So I want you to take us inside the mind of a fighter when you know you have a scheduled fight coming up. Do you immediately start watching film on your opponent? Do you start trying to psych yourself out? You get the people around you who you need in your camp? Like, what is the thought process once you have a fight lined up?
As soon as they give me their name, I'll look them up.
Okay.
Like, I'll start looking at their stuff, looking at the record and all that, who they fought. And then I'll kind of take a break from it because it kind of just fucks with my head.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I'd rather just, like, watch them right away and, like, all right, I already got, you know, and I already saw him and stuff. And then I'll kind of just take a break from watching his stuff and I'll just start my training camp. But my coaches, of course, they're always on top of that. And then once I'm about, like, halfway through my camp, I'll go back and I'll watch a couple of his fights again, just to refresh myself, you know, and then I'll kind of stop. And then towards the end, I'll watch him again, you know, just I don't like watching him so much, because then I'm just thinking about him all the time.
Right.
And
I hear you.
But I mean, everybody's different, you know. Like Diego will watch them a lot,
really,
you know. And I tell him, like, damn, bro, I don't know how you do it. Like if I'm watching them, and especially at night, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to sleep. I can't go to sleep. My mind's just running and thinking about them, and I'm just tossing and turning. I'm just like, man, why did I do that?
In most sports, baseball, basketball, football, it's very team element, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know you have trainers and you have your coaches and people in your corner, but during the actual fight, it's just you, right? No one's got your back physically. I mean, they're coaching you, but what's that like, man? Knowing it's just you against another person, your will against their will, your training against their training. There's no team support during the actual fight. Like, does that mess with your mind? Like, it's just you? Like,
it did at first, but I mean, over the time and experience, you kind of like just learn to like cope with that, you know. But it sucks because when you lose, you lose.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like damn, bro, like we fucking lost today. You know, it's all good. Let's go eat dinner and just forget about it.
Yeah, no, that's true. Because when somebody wins, they start naming all the coaches. They start talking about the camp and everything and everybody in the team. And then when you lose, they mostly just talk about you.
Yeah, and they just throw shade on you and shit. It's funny because when I lost my first UFC fight against Levitt, man, there's so many people that just hating on me and shit, like sending me messages and like, you fucking suck and all this shit.
Sending you messages?
Like random people, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm just like, damn, I've never experienced this shit, you know? But Diego and other people who, like people that train at Fortis MMA over there in Dallas, and just like Diego too, they would always tell me like, yeah, man, that fucking fans are just like crazy, you know, like if you lose, they'll eat you up. Even if you win, like people who don't like you, they'll start sending messages.
They'll start nitpicking everything you did right or wrong.
Exactly. And
wow.
And I lost this last fight, and man, bro, I had so many messages on my phone. I have my account private, you know,
on Instagram.
Instagram.
Okay.
And I had so many requests, man, like, oh, do you accept this message? And it was just so many messages of people just talking shit to me. Wow. And I'm just like, damn, like these people have nothing better to do is to like hate on
What's the worst thing you hear from random strangers?
I read like 2, and then after that I was just like, man, I don't want to read the rest, so I just delete all. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's all good. It's all. I feel like I have a thick skin. I mean, I was the youngest from all my cousins, and my brother always poking at me and shit. I mean, like, you're from Raiders, you know, everybody was talking shit all the time. So, I mean, like, I just kind of looked at it like, whatever. I'm not going to, like, let it bother me and shit. When I win, they're going to be there still hating or whatever, you know, so it doesn't matter.
Let's talk a little bit about Diego.
Okay.
He's been in the mixed martial arts scene for a while, but he started off with jiu-jitsu. He's from Brazil. He made his home here in South Texas. His path to the UFC, he was like 9-0 before his first UFC fight, and then he gets to the UFC and he wins his first debut. What is that like, having him like, man, dude, I've got this guy? I mean, you've been fighting for a while, but he's been doing this for a little bit longer than
he's
you
been,
have.
like the jiu-jitsu scene, you know, since he's been a kid. He was, I think he got his black belt when he was 18, 19.
Jeez, man.
It's like, damn, you've been training since you were really a young kid, you know? Like, he has some kids here that have been training for a long time, you know, and it's like they're in the same route as he, you know, when they hit 18, 19, if they keep up with it, they'll get their black belt too, you know, so.
Do you lean on him, not physically, but like for experience and for coaching mentally?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Like you said, like mentally, like he's been there already, you know? he's the one who told me, like, bro, don't pay attention to that. Put your phone down. Like, let them say whatever. Just don't even read them. Don't even open. You know what I mean? Like, and he's like, you're always going to get that, you know? And I'm just like, all right, cool. So I just kind of deleted everything. Yeah. I didn't even open them. But, yeah, I mean, he's already been through that. Him taking me to all his fights. And
right, you corner him in his fights, right? So
Correct,
you had already been to Vegas and the Apex Center before your Contender series, right?
Yes.
You had been there so many times cornering Diego.
Yeah.
Man, that's really good experience, dude.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, it hits different when you're the one walking out.
And he's
stuff,
cornering you.
And he's cornering me.
Yeah.
But, man, one thing that I've always wanted to, and I would always tell him and my coach, my boxing coach, Coach Rick, it's like, I'm going to get you guys a jacket with my last name on it. Like,
wow.
just wait, you know? And so that always motivated me, you know? So when I got my fighter jacket with my last name on it, and then they got theirs because they cornered me, they get one too. I was like, hell yeah. Like that kind of like, it made me feel good, you know, like I did what I was said I was gonna do, you know, and all that comes from like experiencing everything that he's taking me with him, you know, and
wow, that's awesome.
Like him and his wife they take me to all his fights, you know, and I corner him. It helped a lot with the Contender Series fight. Man, for some reason I felt so much different from the Contender Series to the UFC. When I was in there in the cage fighting.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That whole week both of them I felt the same. I felt good. I felt ready. My camp was good. Like I have no excuse, you know. It's just with the feeling when I was in there, when it was different names but the same place.
Yeah.
It just felt different, you know.
So you fought in the same octagon?
It was the same everything. Yeah. It's just now it said UFC in my gloves, and when it was Contender Series it was just black.
Wow, dude. That's like big time mental, man. It's the same octagon, the same sport, the same. You got the same corner. It's a different opponent, but you felt different.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, it was. But I'm glad that I went through that, you know. And I know my next one, I'll be good and I'll be ready. And whether people believe me or not, I mean, I really care. Like I know for myself that man, I train every day. You know, I train hard. I train with Diego, you know, every day. I get pushed by him and stuff, so I know for the next one I'll be ready.
You don't really use Muay Thai in your fights, right? You weren't like really trying to use your legs in a lot of your fights. It was a lot of stand up and a lot of grappling, right?
It was a lot of my hands and defending takedowns. A lot of people would try to always shoot on me, take me down. So defending that, working my way back up and stuff like that. But that's one thing that I'm trying to add to my like arsenal.
Your repertoire, arsenal,
is add my kicking
that's cool.
and elbows, knees, all that stuff, you know. And I feel like it's coming together good, you know. So
good,
hopefully my next fight, you guys will see.
Yeah, you'll be a different beast.
Yeah, different brick.
Were you there at UFC 246 when Diego fought Pettis?
Yeah. Me and Luke cornered him too. Me and Luke were there.
Oh, Luke was there.
Yeah. Luke helped Diego out for that camp a lot because Luke has really good kicks too. He's a real good Muay Thai fighter, and Anthony Pettis has really good kicks. Yeah. So he was one of Diego's main training partners for that camp, and he took me and him to go corner him. Yeah,
that was a good fight, man.
Yeah, it was good.
That was a big fight for Diego too.
Yeah, really big name, everything. You know, I was like, hell yeah, like it was a good experience. You know, like to see him across the cage. Like I'm like in the corner and to see Diego here and Anthony Pettis here, I'm like, damn, hell yeah.
Wow, dude, that's awesome. Cool. That was the McGregor
Cerrone
card, right?
Yeah, that was.
Wow, dude.
That was before like the whole pandemic and the lockdown and all that.
What was that like when he submitted him? What was that feeling like? Like you jump in the octagon and celebrate with Diego?
Yeah, I mean, it's badass. He likes to see you.
Is it the same pride you feel when you see your guy win?
Hell yeah! Like he's like Diego's my boy. You know, when he loses, I feel down too. You know, and I'm sure he feels like when I lose, he's like fuck. You know, like he gets down. Because we see what we go through every day. You know, and a lot of people don't see that. And that's cool, you know, like I'm not expecting everybody to know everything that we go through.
Right.
But we know what we go through, so it's like when you lose it's like fuck, and when you win it's like hell yeah, you're happy for him, you know.
If you and I, not knowing anything about me, if we were to fight, how quickly would the fight end? Without knowing anything about me.
I don't know how quickly it would end, but
my ears don't look like yours, bro. You can see how much experience I have here.
Shit, I mean, I don't know, bro. I mean,
Be honest. If you had every motivation to end the fight, how quickly would it end?
I'm trying to be like a dick or nothing.
No, go ahead.
like a minute and a half, maybe.
I don't think myself that long.
No, okay, a minute.
You're
a
UFC fighter, bro. Okay, I'll tell you my experience. I have 3 classes in kickboxing that I got in a group on, bro.
Okay.
That's all I got, dude.
Okay.
Now what's your answer?
Okay, I like a minute.
A minute? Yeah. Wow, that's being generous. Yeah. I appreciate it. I think if you had every intention to submit me or knock me out, I'd say probably 20 seconds.
Well,
because every time you go up to fight against somebody, they know what the hell they're doing. And I don't think I know what the hell I'm doing. I think I wouldn't know what the hell I'm doing. But going up against somebody who knows what they're doing, 20 pounds, 30 pounds heavier than me, I don't think I got a shot, dude. So I appreciate you giving me a minute, man. I don't think I'd last that long.
I mean, I wouldn't even do that either way.
No, I know you wouldn't, Ira. You're not gonna, try to hurt me, who's not a trained fighter, but.
But I mean, I would say like a minute, a solid minute.
What is the best background to have in fighting before somebody joins mixed martial arts?
I think wrestling or jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, wrestling or jiu-jitsu. Yeah, okay. Either way. Like I said, like every fight's gonna end up in the ground. At one point, you're gonna end up in the ground. So like a good wrestler is good at controlling you and tiring you out. Man, like. Have you ever wrestled?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've wrestled.
Yeah, like just messing around and stuff.
Never like professionally or collegially or
like you get tired. You know what I mean? Somebody's weight on you the whole time. Like you have to fight like everything, and they're over their body weight on you. And by the time you stand back up, your hands are not like up anymore. You're like, oh fuck, I'm tired. You start like shrugging and you want to like shrug them off and stuff, but when they're really good at wrestling or jiu-jitsu, they're just on you. Like, for instance, like Diego, like every time I train with him, he's real good at being sticky, and he just sticks onto you and he just kind of beats you to every step. He's like 2 or 3 steps ahead. So that's the point, that's where you want to get to when you're training like jiu-jitsu or wrestling. You always want to be ahead of your opponent, on the ground. Like if he's moving a certain way, you already knew that he was going to move there, so you're already 2 steps up. Yeah. And you move to where he's gonna move eventually.
Right. That comes with jiu-jitsu, just having that training to be able to predict your
movements,
your opponent's movements and stuff.
Yeah. When you go watch the fight somewhere, they're always talking about oh, that's boring. Like when they're fighting against the cage or when they're underground for too long. You know what I mean? And it's like, damn, like try fighting for 2 minutes against the cage when somebody who knows what they're doing is like you're gonna feel it. Like it's tiring. That's a very tiring part of the fight. When you're fighting against the cage, they're trying to pin you there, or when somebody who knows what they're doing. That's what I'm saying. Like somebody who knows jiu-jitsu or wrestling against just like somebody who doesn't. They're gonna.
They can control the fight.
They can control the fight and wear you out, tire you out.
All right. Do you think MMA is the toughest sport?
Yeah. I would have to say it is. Yeah. It is. And a lot of people are gonna tell me shit about it because a lot of people, because I've had this conversation with people and they think that. I've talked to it about boxers. A lot of people think like boxers think that boxing is the hardest sport. It's like, nah, I'm sorry. It is a rough sport. And I love boxing, but MMA is just so many things that you have to train to get ready for that one fight, and so many things you have to worry about. You know what I mean? You have to worry about kicks, knees, elbows, takedowns, conditioning. Like
there's a reason why McGregor and Mayweather didn't fight. Mixed martial arts, right?
Exactly.
They fought in boxing, right?
Yeah.
Because one can't switch over to the other one as easily.
Yeah. That's exactly. Yeah, that's it right there. That's a good example right there. Yeah. Like if they were to do an MMA, McGregor would have killed him.
20 seconds maybe.
Just with a leg kick.
To the ground, submission. Leg kick. Get him off his legs, submission.
Because like if you're not used to getting kicked, like if your leg's not conditioned. Right. And somebody who's a good kicker kicks you one time, it's just gonna hurt. You know what I mean?
Now you're thinking about it.
Now
your hand's a little lower, and now your face is exposed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now you're worried about that, and then now you open up your head. There you go. The thing that makes it the toughest sport, I think, out of like in MMA, I think it makes it the toughest sport because of wrestling. Like wrestling is a tough sport too. Once you start reaching up like the college level and all that. They have to go through different matches and stuff. So that's why when you see a really good wrestler jump over to MMA, they do really good. Yeah. Because they're good at the hardest part of MMA, which is the wrestling part. You know what I mean? So.
Wow, that's true.
Yeah.
So once they come in and then start incorporating striking and
they already got their base, which is the toughest one in MMA. Wow. You know what I mean?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I've always thought that the role of a referee in a UFC fight is pretty damn hard, because the fighter who's winning, right, wants the fight to be called if in his favor, and the person who's defending is either asking for the ref to stop it because they're actually getting hurt, or they want the ref to stretch it. Like, how hard is it to be in that position to jump in and call it, dude?
Well, I mean, I'm not a ref, so
no, I know.
But like, I mean, I can see how hard it is to be a ref sometimes, you know, because they get a lot of shit,
especially title fights, like jumping in and stopping a fight, like
but that's why I think like Herb Dean is one of the best refs,
he's really
you know,
good.
and he still gets shit sometimes, you know.
Exactly.
So I mean, fuck, like there was actually a fight recently that I went to go see, and I had some friends of mine fighting, and I was like, I'm gonna go support him. So one of the refs there, he's refed a lot of my fights, and he's been around for a long time and everything, and something like the guy was caught in a triangle and he fell asleep, but the ref didn't kind of notice that, and he was stuck in the triangle for a long time.
Asleep,
like he was already out. Damn. You know, and he was stuck in there. So he got a lot of shit for that, you know what I mean? And I'm like, well, damn, like I know he didn't do it on purpose. It's not like in his mind he was like, I'm gonna leave him in there.
That's
like,
tough, dude.
you know
That's
what I mean?
tough.
But you want to give the fighter in the bad position like a fair chance to like escape or whatever. I mean, it is rough, you know, but I know that the refs at the end of the day, they're just doing what's best to protect the fighters, because that's what they're there for, you know.
I think there was a controversial fight. It was like Robbie Lawler and Ben Askren.
Dude,
that was like, it seemed like an early stoppage, but in Herb's position, dude, like, do you let it go? Do you step in and call it? Like,
well, because I know he did lift his hand, and they tell you in the back, like every event you have a ref meeting, and the ref is there talking to all the fighters in the corners and stuff, and they're like in the room, and they'll mention it there, like, if we lift your hand up, if you're stuck somewhere, whatever, give us a thumbs up, give us something for us to know that you're still awake. You know what I mean? And you're still in the fight. And I want to say that fight with Robbie Lawler, Herb Dean did lift his hand up, but it kind of dropped.
It went back down.
Yeah, it was like limp. So that's when he was like, all right, you know what? I got to stop it.
That's enough,
But, I mean, it's kind of hard to make that call, you know what I mean? And then you hear the noise, everybody's yelling. You're the one that has to make the decision, so it's kind of like, it's rough, you know?
Yeah, there was a fight I saw with Kimbo Slice, and I think it was Ken Shamrock. It was later. Was it Ken Shamrock? It might have been, where he had Kimbo in a rear naked choke. Okay. But it wasn't deep. It looked like it was deep. But I mean, Kimbo's neck is like massive, right? He had it in there. He was rolling around, and Kimbo never let his hands drop. He had him here, right? So I think it was Herb Dean. He picked up his arm and he was still bringing it back, but it looked like it was deep. It was in there tough. And then he eventually like got the arms out.
I remember that.
Right? He got his arms out. Okay. And then rolled on top of him, and like 4 seconds later, like 3 or 4 headshots against the cage, and then he won the fight. But the ref had every opportunity to end it, because the hold looked pretty deep. Yeah. It looked like a deep rear naked choke, and he never called it because he was still defending himself. Yeah. His eyes didn't go back, his arms didn't go down. He got up, and that was the right call. Yeah. But I don't think anybody would have said, "Hey, Herb, that was an early stoppage," because he had him like it looked like a defensive rear naked choke, but he got up and he won the fight. Like
I guess it depends on the view that you're at. Yeah. You know, like if Herdy's in front of me and somebody has my back, then he can see me perfect. You know what I mean? And he can see that I'm still fighting. But like, let's say, like he has me in a rear naked choke and my face is down, he's on my back. Yeah. How can he see my eyes? How can you know what I mean? And if I'm doing this, maybe he thinks that my hands are stuck underneath me. Oh, you know what I mean?
Depends on the position.
Yeah,
right?
It's like a choke. If the guy's not like completely out, I guess because he was still fighting, and if he's not tapping, well, the ref's gonna let it go. Yeah, you know what I mean.
But if his hands are free and he's not tapping, then he should keep going.
Yeah, he's gonna let it keep going. But now, if he was here fighting and then his hands just went limp on him, then it's like, all right, well then I gotta.
Or if his hands were trapped under him and he couldn't tap, then the ref would call it.
Yeah.
Wow, what's the worst submission to be in? Is it the rear naked choke? Like to try to escape?
I think anything to do with knees and your legs. Any type of leg lock. Yeah.
Like a.
That's just me though, because I don't like.
Your knees locked or them using their knees.
Them using their legs.
Like a triangle choke.
No, like so leg locks. You know, I think that's just the worst one because it can damage your knee and then you're out for a long time. And some people don't even come back from that. You know.
So you would tap quicker with a leg lock than you would a rear naked choke?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't want nobody to tear my ACL. I don't want nobody to tear like.
So that's the worst submission to be in, something with legs.
Me personally,
because of the recovery afterwards.
Yeah. The damage that it does afterwards is just so much. It's longer to recover and everything from it than an armbar or a rear naked choke. A rear naked choke, you put me to sleep. Okay, I wake up.
And I still have my limbs and
and I will still walk out of the cage. You know. Now you get me in a leg lock and I don't want to tap because I want to like, oh no, I'm tough.
Pride,
and you tear my ACL, I ain't walking out of that the same way I walked in. You know what I mean?
Okay, so, that makes a lot of sense.
So when it comes to my knees and to my legs, I try to not even get into those situations. You know, I'm always like, as soon as I feel like they're wrapping up my legs with their legs, I'm like, all right, defend, get out. Like, don't even hang around here too much. You know what I mean? But the moment I feel like, all right, it's tight, I just let it go, tap. You know what I mean?
Like, I know some people like Lyoto Machida. I think he said he would never tap. He would let the ref call the fight. He just has so much pride that he would never tap. And I think that fight against, was it Bones Jones, just destroyed him. I don't know if that fight ended with a submission or
he put him to sleep against the kids like that, and he just dropped him.
He was standing up.
Oh,
dude,
that was crazy.
He should have tapped, right? But the pride is like.
Yeah, well, a choke is different from a leg lock. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess you lose consciousness quicker and you can't tap maybe. But
yeah, well, I mean, somebody will be like, nah, you know what? I'm going to tough it out and I'm going to try to fight. And then, boom, you just go to sleep. You know, like there's not like a warning before you go to sleep. It's kind of just your body just shuts down, you know? So I can see why a choke, maybe you'll want to tough it out. You know, maybe you can get that lock and fight it. But a leg lock, it's like, fuck.